Alright, so this is the Ecovacs T90 Pro OMNI, and this thing has been cleaning my studio for months now. You know, my studio is quite messy. We test all kinds of tech products every day, and cables, tripods, all over the place. And in this video, I'm going to share all my real-world experience with you, all the pros and cons, so please stick around to the end to see if this is really made for you. Now, here's the interesting part. There are so many options out there when it comes to robot vacuum cleaners. For me, the T90 Pro OMNI isn't supposed to be a top-tier ultra-premium model. It's more of a value flagship, meaning it promises a lot of high-end features, but at a more reasonable price point. And that's exactly the kind of product I'm always curious about, because sometimes these middle-tier models surprise you. Straight out of the box, first impressions, it doesn't come with as many consumables as some more expensive models I've reviewed. We get a cleaning solution, a cable, and a base station, the vacuum itself, and some paperwork. But I do understand this is a very focused robot cleaner, so they are putting most of the budget into the core product, which is the cleaner itself. Now, my first impression is surprisingly premium. The base station has a clean, modern look, not bulky or ugly, and more importantly, it doesn't take up too much space, because in my studio, every inch counts. And if you care about aesthetics at home, this won't look out of place. The robot itself also feels well built, not plasticky or cheap. Now, let's put the thing through a real-world test, cleaning performance, because specs are nice, but mess is truth. I want to start with something challenging, liquids and sticky stuff. So I went all in, yogurt, ketchup, I even sprayed around to make things harder, and soy sauce. Now, the first thing I really like is the roller mop, called Osmo Roller 3.0. Instead of dragging dirty pads across the floor, it constantly washes itself while cleaning. Fresh water is applied continuously, so you're not spreading dirty water around. That self-washing mechanism is actually something you only see on much more expensive models. So seeing it here at this price level is pretty impressive. Another clever detail, the mop extends outward for edge cleaning. This is what Ecovacs called True Edge 3.0, and it helps reach closer to baseboards. Of course, this is especially helpful for daily dry mess cleaning. I notice this is more often when I use it to clean my studio day to day. Anyway, back to the wet cleaning test. As we can see from the video, the T90 Pro OMNI cleaned about 90% of the ketchup on the first pass, leaving just some light stains behind. Mostly because the ketchup has slightly dried before the test. Like I said, to increase the difficulty. But on the second pass, I cleaned everything up. So overall, I really like the cleaning performance. It's genuinely very good. I especially like the self-washing while cleaning feature because it keeps the floor looking shiny and odor-free. Now, the T90 Pro OMNI has passed the mop test, but you might wonder, how does it perform on carpets, especially when it comes to suction? So to challenge it, I went straight to carpet testing, because this is where suction really matters. For this test, I used crushed biscuits, including some pretty large chunks. When it detects carpet, the mop automatically lifts up to 15 millimeters, so it doesn't wet the carpet. Then suction kicks in. This model comes up to 30,000 pounds, which is a big number. But numbers don't mean much unless it actually performs. I ran a near top suction, and honestly it picked up almost everything on the first pass, and then everything on the second pass. Even the larger chunks disappeared. That's a very solid result. Here is another big challenge, especially long hair or pale hair. This model uses Zero Tangle 4.0, and this is something I specifically paid attention to. You know how some robot vacuums need weak cleaning because hair wraps around the brush? Here I tested with a long pile of hair, and it quickly got pulled into the vacuum while the brush is still clean. No wrapping, no build-up. You can actually see the brush grabbing the hair and pulling into the suction path, exactly how it's supposed to work. For pet owners or households with long hair, that's a big win. Now let's talk about navigation and daily usability, because this is where a robot vacuum either feels smart or becomes annoying. This one uses upgraded AI via 3D navigation, and honestly, it behaves more like a flagship-level robot. It mapped the entire space quickly, avoided obstacles well, and most importantly, didn't get stuck. Cables are usually the nightmare scenario, but it handled them surprisingly well. Here I placed a 3-leg speaker on the carpet and let it run. And as you can see, the robot carefully circled around the speaker without bumping into it. The base station is also doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. It automatically washes them up with controlled temperature water.
Let's start washing the roller mop with hot water.
Then usually use 63 degrees Celsius hot air, which helps prevent smells and bacteria build up. It also empties the dust bin automatically, so you don't have to deal with manual cleaning after every run. That's really the whole idea, hands-free maintenance. There are also a few small features that make everyday use smoother. One that surprised me is the power boost charging. When you return to clean the mop, it also tops up battery at the same time. That means less downtime and faster job completion, which is actually pretty useful. And of course, we got all the standard smart features, scheduling, room selection, multi-room control, even voice commands, all implemented in a way that just works without much hassle. So after using this for a couple of weeks, I think the biggest takeaway here is balance. This isn't trying to be the absolute top of the line robot vacuum, but it delivers a surprisingly large portion of that flagship experience where it actually matters. Strong cleaning, low maintenance, and reliable navigation. The remote makes a noticeable difference on hard floors. Suction is more than enough for everyday mess, and the self-cleaning features really reduce how much you have to interact with it. And if you are wondering whether there are any downsides, the one thing I'd probably point out is the consumables included in the original packaging. It doesn't come with that many extras compared to some high-end models, but again, I understand the reasoning here. Most of the budget clearly goes into the core hardware and the cleaning performance. So overall, if you've got mixed flooring, pets, or just a busy household and want something that works without constant babysitting, this is definitely one worth considering. And if you are interested, please check out the link in the description to learn more. Thanks for watching. I'm Samuel. See you in the next one. Bye bye.